Hey, what up, what up, what up, what up? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Now I've come with another interesting video. This video is about South Africa and Israel. The president of the South African Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, has made an interesting comment about South African readiness to go to, if needs be, against any country that doesn't respect. This comes at a time when South Africa dragged Israel to International Court of Justice, violating and fueling genocide in Gaza.
We must be mindful that our success has exposed not only the atrocities that have been carried out or being carried out by the state of Israel. It also has exposed the moral bankruptcy of those countries who, by their acts of omission or commission, are allowing genocide to take place in Gaza on their watch. And we say this humbly, without pointing fingers. We are also conscious of the fact that there will be systematic fight-back campaigns as well. And I say this so that we are aware of it. There can be little doubt that these forces will do all in their power to prevent South Africa from firstly concluding its case on the merits of the matter in the ICJ. Speaking to the lawyers, I found them quite ready, willing, and prepared to take this case forward to its final conclusion. The fight back may also focus on our domestic politics and our electoral outcomes in order to pursue a regime change agenda. Now, some people have said this was a David and Goliath type of contest. So we must be aware that whilst we have done what we believe was driven by our conscience and our principles, and whilst we also went and did the right thing and take this matter to the courts that were set up by those who were there in 1948 or so as they set up that court, we are being blamed for taking the matter to the very court that they set up. We are now being asked if we are willing to participate in whatever form of discussions that could end this conflict. And we've said yes. As South Africa, we are always ready to do so. The issue of the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, that matter and the impact that this case can have on our domestic situation. The Lekgotla came to a unanimous view that South Africa's unwavering support and solidarity with the people of Palestine is in the end consistent with the ANC-led alliance's long-standing traditions and policy positions. We take this opportunity to thank all South Africans who have come out in their tens of thousands, in fact in their hundreds of thousands, to support the just cause of the Palestinian people. We also pay tribute and commend the legal team and those who worked very hard behind scenes to make sure that our government's case is well represented. And we have thanked our two ministers who played a key role, Minister Pando and Minister Lamola. We thank them once again together with the legal team. I have personally phoned all the lawyers who represented us, including those based in the UK, to thank them for the work that they have done. And we all agree that they really presented a formidable case, and in many cases they said this was a case for them in a lifetime, and that is true. As we reflect on this matter, we must be mindful that our success has exposed not only the atrocities that have been carried out or being carried out by the State of Israel, it also has exposed the moral bankruptcy of those countries who, by their acts of omission or commission, are allowing genocide to take place in Gaza on their watch. And we say this humbly without pointing fingers. We are also conscious of the fact that there will be systematic fight-back campaigns as well. And I say this so that we are aware of it. There can be little doubt that these forces will do all in their power to prevent South Africa from firstly concluding its case on the merits of the matter in the ICJ. Speaking to the lawyers, I found them quite ready, willing, and prepared to take this case forward to its final conclusion. The fight back may also focus on our domestic politics and our electoral outcomes in order to pursue a regime change agenda. Now, some people have said this was a David and Goliath type of contest. So we must be aware that whilst we have done what we believe was driven by our conscience and our principles, and whilst we also went and did the right thing and take this matter to the courts that were set up by those who were there in 1948 or so as they set up that court, we are being blamed for taking the matter to the very court that they set up. We didn't take this case to a kangaroo court. We went to the very court that they themselves set up in terms of the rules that they set up, and we should not be blamed for doing so. So in the end, comrades, we need to be absolutely vigilant and resolute. And so we must end by saying the path ahead will not be an easy one, but we should never doubt the capacity of the ANC-led alliance to unite our members and supporters together and all patriots in our country in order to advance the gains not only of our freedom, but the gains of the freedom of others as well in other countries. Now, following our lodging of the case, we are now being asked if we are willing to participate in whatever form of discussions that could end this conflict. And we've said yes. As South Africa, we are always ready to do so. We do this because we are driven by a principle that our forebears taught us, that conflicts are always best resolved through dialogue, through negotiations for a peaceful end, as our own conflict was driven by that. And so we stand on the history that we were taught by our forebears. So comrades, as we end and as we are aware of some of the risks and the dangers that lie in store, we should also be aware of the opportunities that are also there, where South Africa will again and again continue playing the role it has always played. We have Comrade Thabo Mbeki amongst us, who has, throughout his presidency, even beyond that, has continued to play the role of resolving conflicts on our continent and elsewhere in the world. So, it is precisely that, following in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela, that we will say to the world, we have done what we needed to do, driven by the principles that we uphold, but we are ready, willing, and prepared to participate in any process that will lead to to a peaceful
Ramaphosa also said his country, which lodged the genocide case against Israel at the top UN court, is happy that the Palestinian people's cries for justice have been heeded by an eminent organ of the United Nations. The court ruled in a preliminary order that Israel must do all it can to prevent death, destruction, and any act of genocide in its offensive in Gaza, but did not order a ceasefire by Israel, which South Africa had pushed for. Remember, South Africa took Israel to the ICJ demanding a ceasefire against Gaza and Palestinian people. Ramaphosa, in a live television address in South Africa hours after the ruling, called for a ceasefire to enable negotiation for Israel and Palestine to live side by side. He also explained why South Africa brought the case to the World Court, comparing Israel's action in Gaza to South Africa's own history of apartheid under the previous system of white minority rule that forced most black South Africans to live in homelands and denied them the right of freedom of movement, among many other oppressive policies. Leading rights groups in Israel and abroad and Palestinians have accused Israel and its 56-year occupation of the West Bank of morphing into an apartheid system that they say gives Palestinians second-class status, and it is designed to maintain Jewish hegemony from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. The death toll now from the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza Strip has surpassed 26,000 by now, as the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to limit death and damage, but stopped short of asking a ceasefire in the Palestinian territory. The health minister in Hamas ruled Gaza said that 26,083 people have been killed and more than 64,400 wounded since October 7th. The militants from the territory launched a surprise attack in southern Israel, killing around 1,200 people and taking about 250 hostages. In November 21, 2023, Israel recalled its ambassador Eliav Borotsev to South Africa for consultation as the African nation was preparing to host a summit for the world leaders and a vote on whether to shut down its Israeli embassy and cut diplomatic ties with Israel. Eliav has been called to Jerusalem amid South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's criticism of Israeli attacks on Gaza, according to Israeli Foreign Minister. Following the latest South African statement, the ambassador of Israel to Pretoria has been recalled to Jerusalem for consultation. Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs posted on their X, or formerly known as Twitter, in 2023 November. South Africa has been vocal in reprimanding Israeli bombardment of Gaza and filed a referral to the International Criminal Court, seeking an investigation into what Ramaphosa described as Israel's war crimes and tantamount to genocide. In November, South Africa also recalled its ambassador to Israel and withdrew its diplomatic presence on the ground. Given that much of the global community is witnessing the commission of these crimes in real time, including statement of genocide, intent by many Israeli leaders, we expected that warrants of arrest for these leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, should be issued shortly. South African Minister in the presidency, Kumzo Shavin, also told reporters in November 2023. In July 2022, over a year before Hamas attack on October 7th, South African diplomat Narendi Panda said, "For many South Africans, the narrative of the Palestinian people's struggles does evoke experiences of our own history of racial segregation and oppression." Israel began striking the Palestinian enclave in response to Hamas attack, in which 1,200 were killed and around 240 taken hostage. Since then, at least 13,000 Gazans have died, among them thousands of children, UN workers and journalists, and at least 1.4 million people of Gaza's 2.2 million population have been displaced by the war. Now, Ramaphosa's ruling African National Congress Party, among other smaller parties, stood to stop a motion brought about by left's opposition party Economic Freedom Fighters of closing Israeli embassy in the country. The move came just as South Africa was preparing to host a virtual summit with the BRICS, an economic bloc of nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to discuss Israeli war on Gaza. Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates would also join the group this January. Among the leaders attended are Russia President Vladimir Putin, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Chinese President Xi Jinping, who expressed his support for Palestinians and welcomed diplomats from Arabs and Muslim nations in Beijing. That's all. Gaza, South Africa, and Israel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this video. Kindly subscribe, like, and share.